TV can run it, run it.
Hall of Famer Tito Santana, hoping to give.
Hello, hey guys, just 10 here with the Old 5 Wrestling. What's your opinion?
And something like that than I have ever felt.
Hello.
Look at that. We've got our faces.
That's right. We're here.
We have our faces tonight. We're talking about Randy Orton. It's a minor pivot, just weather episode situations. It happens. And since Orton is all over the news right now for his upcoming match with Cena, that great spot after WrestleMania where he RKO'd him out of nowhere.
That's a lot of fun. That's nostalgic.
Yeah. Just like our good friends, Eldridge and Blackburn at the Nostalgia Show.
That's right. Check them out, guys, if you love nostalgia.
Good people. Speaking of some nostalgia, let's talk about the Legend Killer.
That's right.
Now, technically, Randy had 2 runs as a Legend Killer. Obviously, the first one was great, so let's get into that first.
All right, so we'll start with the first Legend Killer run, which started. So, Evolution ended. Randy Orton won the World Championship. He had his little face run, lost the World Championship, and then in 2005, he was drafted to SmackDown. And when he got drafted to SmackDown, he started feuding with The Undertaker around that time. Cowboy Bob showed up. He was hanging out with him.
He was going to do what no one else had ever done.
That's right.
He was going to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania because the streak was still intact.
He became the Legend Killer. He had that infamous spot where he RKO'd Hulk Hogan on the hood of a limo, which is pretty cool. Did you ever see that?
Yeah. Look, man, I'll be honest. A lot of Orton's career for me is kind of a blur.
Yeah.
I enjoy parts of it, but first off, the man has hardly aged. I don't understand it.
That's true.
And second off, most of his matches are all the same.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I get it. I get it.
But I did enjoy the gimmicks that he's had over the years.
Yeah.
Like
Legend Killer was my favorite, the original.
Yeah. He had that epic match at Backlash 2004 with Cactus Jack.
Yep.
That no holds bar one, best match of Randy's career, in my opinion. And then he revamped the Legend Killer a few years later when Randy was pretty much already a legend. I guess Vince was just throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah.
So what about that era of the Legend Killer, Tan?
So that era to me was pandemic era. So I know a lot of people checked out of the product around that time. You know, it was hard to keep up with wrestling when you didn't know what the hell was happening from one day to the next. But he was having unsanctioned matches with Christian, who was not cleared, Triple H, who was not cleared, so they had unsanctioned matches where Randy basically just beat their ass and punted them. Ric Flair, he got Ric Flair. And for a while, this is actually a fun fact for you. In 2020, every single person that Randy Orton punted and they wrote off TV during that Legend Killer run ended up in AEW.
Well, that's where legends go.
Hilarious.
That's legend hilarious. Heaven.
He did kill him.
I do remember the greatest match ever being hyped up.
God, that was awful.
It was such a bad match.
Yeah,
and
it was.
By no means was it the greatest match ever.
No.
It was a pandemic era match. I think Cage Match gave it like a 8.5, 8.3, something like that. 8.35. Yeah, 8.35. And that's being generous to me.
I thought
that match was awful. The WrestleMania match was even worse, where they're like fighting in the gym and around the TVs and all that stuff. Now, if you're the kind of person who might like to fight around random home items, maybe you should talk to our good friends at Stover's Liquidation. In particular, our good friends at the Tulsa Road location in Oak Ridge. at 481 Tulsa Road, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. That's 37830. You can call them at 865-523-4449. They are available 24 hours online at www.stoversliquidation.com. They have liquidation and wholesale home improvement items available. Truckload quantities are available. They are closed on Sundays, however. Go see our good friends at Stovers in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
And tell him Till 5 sent you.
Now, Tan, let's talk about the early days of Randy Keith Orton.
Yeah, so he debuted in 2002 on SmackDown. All right, he kind of didn't. He had a couple matches on Velocity here and there. Then he was traded to Raw. Where shortly after he was traded to Raw, he got a shoulder injury.
And look, I loved the Randy
That's
New
what I would say.
when he would come in with his arm in this thing and be like, Randy's feeling at about 83% this week. I loved it.
Yeah, that to me is some of the most entertaining stuff he's ever done.
I feel like to me, Randy really quit being fun about the time that he was a consistent main event guy. He got dull there.
Yeah.
I feel like in his beginnings, he was a blast. I will never forget Survivor Series 2002, him interacting with Scott Steiner. That was just
Scott
to see
Steiner.
the two of them. I was like, what is life? Because I remembered Bob Orton and I'd watched all of Steiner's career, and here's his son. It was weird. So,
I
yeah,
can imagine.
I enjoyed that part of it. Like we were talking about, his Legend Killer run was a blast.
Yep.
Evolution, that was really a lot of fun.
We'll get to Evolution a little later, but first I think we've talked about. Let's talk about some more fun, Randy. I think we're missing something here. When he was a leader,
well,
in 2009.
Yeah, I was kind of setting up for a segue. That's okay. We can go ahead and jump over there.
Use my segue, bitch.
Yeah, well, my segue was going to be really simple and just say, while he was great in Evolution, he was also great as a leader.
That's right.
In Legacy, right there, and you see our faces. Did you see the faces? Huh?
That's Tan DiBiase Jr.
Yeah.
I did not take money from the Mississippi State Welfare Fund.
Well, we all know that the Notorious Nightmare would never do something so horrible.
That's right.
He is an icon, so he would never be that horrible, that awful, that notorious.
Well, I'll tell you who was horrible was Randy Orton in this era, man. He was a menace to society.
Dude, I didn't hate Randy in Legacy. I hated how quickly we got rid of, what was it, Samu?
Manu,
Samu, Fatu. Sorry, Yuta.
Dude, he was a horrible human being in this era. He was punting Stephanie McMahon. He was punting Shane McMahon.
Old people. Yeah, I know.
It was terrible. He was doing some crazy shit.
And that's like, I was enjoying him. Like that was the end of the fun for me of Orton.
We were getting there with him.
Yeah, when he had his underlings and it's like, hey, go beat him up. Yeah, you want to be like me? Go beat him up.
Yep. That was really fun.
It was. And then he ended up kind of quasi-leading the Authority alongside Triple H, kind of like a reboot of Evolution.
In a way.
And that's where they made him
the face of the place.
That's right. Randy was walking around, Randy Two Belts.
That's right, man. He had the Undisputed Championship at that time. Randy was walking around with Corporate Kane, who was a hot dog vendor part-time there on Monday Night Raw. And Big Show, when he was heel that week, it depended on the week.
It is so easy to see why so many fans checked out.
Yeah, that's not a fun era. You know who was fun from that run, though? J&J Security. That was fun.
Yeah,
they were very fun.
Former ROH World Champion, Jamie Noble, right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a fun era for like 2 seconds. I like to see those guys on TV, but it was just a repeat of Vince McMahon's corporation.
Yeah, it didn't really do anything. all it really gave us was the Daniel Bryan. Daniel
Yeah,
Bryan's big thing, and the Seth Rollins turn was big.
but that was the start of it.
The Sting
Really,
stuff was cool.
until they screwed it up too.
Maybe Authority was cool, dude. I think I
I
lied.
mean, what they really needed to do was maybe consult with some people about a little bit of improvement for their product. Now, if I was the kind of person that was looking to improve on something like that, I might have listened to my fans. But if I was somebody that was wanting to improve on how we were building a home, I believe I'd talk to our good friends at Stover's Liquidation.
They've got liquidation and wholesale home improvement, truckload quantities available at www.stoversliquidation.com at 452 West Broad Street in Cookeville, Tennessee, or you can call them at 931-526-2591. They are closed on Sundays, but they are open 24 hours online. And tell them Till 5 sent you.
Now, we here at Till 5, we are kind of a perfect tag team, if I
think
must
so.
say. Randy had a lot of good tag teams over the years.
He did.
For me, I'm always going to think of Rated RKO. I loved it.
Rated RKO was a blast.
Yeah, that was so much fun because it was just two guys dicking around and having a good time.
And that's the way wrestling should be sometimes.
Absolutely. As much as I didn't like and still don't like Matt Riddle, I enjoyed the RK Bro. It was stupid fun. I kept waiting on Randy to turn on him.
Unfortunately, the injury caused that to not happen. But, let's not forget that he was also tag team partners with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. Well, technically, he held the tag team titles with Bray and Luke Harper because they kind of...
That's true. Freebirded
it there for a little bit. And
but that was actually kind of fun.
It was. For me, the final match, that WrestleMania match, ruined the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. That WrestleMania match was terrible. They had like the worms in the ring.
Yeah,
worms that was really
projected
weird
on the ring.
Yeah.
No, that didn't work for me, brother.
None of Bray Wyatt's goofy shit like that worked for me. Oops.
You can say shit. We can say shit.
Oops.
That's fine. You don't say the F word, okay? I know that
that's my favorite word.
That BG feller will trigger you if you hear the name Bill Goldberg and you might let it slip, but that's different.
It's in my contract that I get one if BG is named on the show.
Fair enough. If BG is named,
I get one F-bomb.
You get one.
I get one per name drop.
No, one per episode.
One per name drop. Write it up. Shano. Shano.
Look, do you want to negotiate with Stovers for the number of F-bombs you get to drop?
Stovers, give me a call.
Now,
let's talk shop.
The other tag team that I really enjoyed for Randy, to get back on track here.
Sorry, man.
Was Kevin Owens. And I was looking forward to their WrestleMania 41 match.
That's a shame that it didn't.
Fortunately, this injury to KO is going to take that away. If KO never wrestles again, at least his last match was with his best friend. And Orton, he went on to have a fun spot. Like everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, that was trending.
Cool. Yeah, that was trending. And then he followed it up the next night by laying out Cena.
Yeah, so it worked out.
You're going to beat the TNA champion on Sunday, lay out the WWE champion on Monday. Kind of.
Big weekend, Randy.
Top tier shit there, folks. See, I can say shit too.
Oh, you can say shit. We can say shit.
Yep. But now, the one person that I was, okay, so before we wrap up, if you could see Randy wrestle one more person, one more legend for a legend killer match, the last legend, so to speak, who would you have Randy be?
Active today or anybody?
Anybody.
Kurt Angle.
That would be fun.
They had fun matches during that stint where he was on SmackDown.
I'd probably go with Bill Goldberg.
Fuck Bill Goldberg. That's 5.